You're watching TVC Breakfast, so it's time for us to look at the headlines across Nigerian newspapers. And I'm retaining Dare Odufowokan as well as Oyegbule here to help us make sense of some of the headlines we're seeing on the papers this morning. Thank you for staying back.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having us here.
All right, let's start with Leadership newspaper. Leadership newspaper says Omicron is focusing on the Omicron coronavirus. Pfizer recommends third vaccine dose as protection. Pfizer recommends third vaccine dose as protection. All right. AstraZeneca slashes jab production, and the federal government confirms expiration of 1 million doses, vows not to accept short-lived vaccines anymore as a booster shot commences on Friday. Now, the AU charged UK, Canada as Saudi bans flights from Nigeria. It's high time Nigeria took reciprocal measures. Ex-envoy is saying this. Okay, that's the Leadership newspaper. We might look at this as we get along. All right, the Nation newspaper is next. Army chief is saying repentant Boko Haram fighters are not sincere. Repentant Boko Haram fighters are not sincere. Now, ECOWAS worried over spread of terrorism and terrorists, bandits using radio frequency spectrum illegally. All right, these are all troubling stories and headlines there. We could still look at this as we get along as well. Okay, from there, let's go to Daily Independent. Invasion of Justice Orderly's home will resist future attacks on the judiciary. The CJN is saying this. Warns security operatives, says that enough is enough. All right. That's Daily Independent. This Nigeria is next. It says assault on Orderly's residence. CJN blows hot. And our silence should not be mistaken for timidity. Right. That's what the CJN Chief Justice of Nigeria is saying. From there, let's go to the Daily Times. Stop embarrassing judicial officers. CJN warns security operatives. All right. Stop embarrassing judicial officers. CJN warns security operatives. All right. From there, let's go to Nigerian News Direct. And it said 15 incidents of jailbreaks. I have no reason to resign. As the Minister, Oyegbule of the Interior Ministry, saying, I have no reason to resign. Despite 15 incidents of jailbreaks across the country at different times. Over 5,000 inmates still missing. And Federal Executive Council approves 965.9 million naira to purchase 49 vehicles for correctional centers. All right, that's close to R1 billion, almost R1 billion for 49 vehicles for correctional centers. Okay, all right, that's News Direct. All right, we might talk about this as well as we get along. From there, Daily Trust is next. Daily Trust says tour operators, airlines count losses. Saudi bans Nigeria. Okay, this is one of the latest now. Our plans disrupted. Passengers are saying this, and rescind travel bans. IATA tells governments. All right, and WHO warns against discriminatory travel bans, says Omicron now in 57 countries. Okay, that's a Daily Trust. New Telegraph. New Telegraph is talking politics against 2023. Lagos for Lagos movement to PDP stares fresh crisis. How Saraki ignored Bode George Agbaje welcome defectors. All right. Jandor can't pick Goba ticket cheaply. That's reactions there generally. All right. New Telegraph. National Economy says gloomy outlook as desertification consumes 2 square meters of Nigeria's agricultural land daily. Gloomy outlook as desertification consumes 2 square meters of Nigeria's agricultural land daily. That's really scary. Punch newspaper is next. Nigeria's petrol imports jump by 55%, hit 2.52 trillion naira in 9 months. All right. That's the Punch newspaper. Business Day is the last one we're looking at now. Business Day says gas producers squeezed after federal government meddles with pricing. gas producers squeezed after federal government meddles with pricing. Okay, that's business day. Okay, let's talk about this. 3 issues in here. I have one of the stories from the Leadership newspaper, the Nation newspaper, and Nigeria News Direct. Okay, all of them are subtly jostling for attention here. So let's start briefly from the Leadership newspaper. Pfizer recommends 3rd vaccine dose as protection. That's what is on the front page of Leadership newspaper. All right, and AstraZeneca slashes jab production, and federal government confirms expiration of 1 million doses of the vaccine and vows not to accept short-life vaccines anymore. Okay, Dare, let me start with you here. I wonder how troubling this is, because it seems like there is no particular firm direction of how we're going. It seems we're trying to understand. Scientists, even scientists or medical people, are also trying to understand this, variants and how people should react to it and things like that.
Yeah, well, it's a global problem anyway. It's not a Nigerian issue. It's global, and the world is still trying to find a solution to COVID-19 generally. The Omicron variant it's coming after the Delta variant. It's as if this virus gets more deadly. I mean, the longer it stays. So we should just react in that particular way that will help us win this war. I learned that we may have to take a 3rd dose. If we have to, please, let's do. This is something we didn't create. It was not something we planned for. It's an happenstance. It came our way by sheer providence, I'll put it that way. Maybe God, in his infinite mercies and understanding, is watching us and seeing how we deal with this particular problem. I know he owns the solution and he will give it our way. But pending when that solution will come, let us be cooperative enough. I think that is the word. Let us just be cooperative. Stiffer measures may still come, making demands on us. That there were talks about from a few weeks back of a possible clamp down again. It's not looking likely again, we thank God. But whatever the measure, those we have saddled with trying to make sense of this situation, whatever the measure they suggest, we should be cooperative in our own interest. You see, that the rate of death globally has gone down. The rate of death in Nigeria is almost non-existent. But it is because we've cooperated to a large extent. It is because we've done that which were expected of us. That's the best we can do for ourselves. That is the best we can do for mankind. I fear, and scientists and other scholars have said it's a possibility that COVID-19 wipe out the whole world. They say it's a possibility. But that it all depends on how we handle this. So
we need to
give
cooperate.
room for that.
All right.
Let us be cooperative.
Okay. Now, if the federal government has confirmed that about 1 million doses of the AstraZeneca, the first vaccine we got, had expired, and they're saying that we will not, going forward, will not accept, even if it's a gift, we will not accept any short-life vaccines anymore. I wonder what you make of this, though.
The ones that I even want to ask, part of the ones that we took, because I've had my 2 jabs.
Yeah, I've had mine too.
Were they a gift or the government?
We have been receiving gifts from all over the world.
Why do we have to wait to get gifts? Because that's what they might give you, the one with the short, span or short shelf life or whatever we want to call that. I think government needs to. You just talked about how much is being earmarked to buy just 49 vehicles. Yeah. Why won't you invest in something that is of quality so that you can keep your citizens alive as it is? It's a sad story to say that number of vaccines have actually expired. We have no idea how many people, beg your pardon, have actually been vaccinated here in Nigeria. How many vaccines do we have left? What are we doing to see that we push people forward to say, go get the vaccines? Because I know that there are still some people, Mike, who would say, look, I will never, ever take the vaccine.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are the churches doing? You know what it's like with Nigerian churches? It's just for your pastor to climb, get on the pulpit and say, go get the vaccine. What are the people manning the mosque doing? It's just for them, because people listen to them. People, you know, defer to them. It's just for them to say that. What has government actually done to see that they bring these pastors and, you know, clergy, bring them together to say, we need you to do this. You can't do away with these people. You've got to talk to them so that they get out there, tell their people, go get the vaccine. So that once you do that, you find that you're protecting yourself. You're protecting your family members and the people around you.
In fact, one of the mega churches, the pastor, I wouldn't want to mention here, had said none of his members anywhere in the world would take vaccines.
That's what we're talking about.
And it remains. If you meet
and
any,
they're not taking it.
They're not taking it. If you meet any of the members anywhere, no matter how remote the church is, they're saying, well, our pastor has said we shouldn't take it, so it's a matter of you know, so these are the issues.
Those are the issues. I think it's a failure of leadership. Government really needs to wake up. It seems these religious houses have actually extricated themselves, and they are bigger than government.
Control of the government.
That's it.
Yes,
and they are bigger as it is. But
because we talk about government reaching out to them, in fairness to government, they've done a lot of that. But some of these people see statements like that, directives like that, as some form of holding onto their member, a way of controlling their members. What will it take even the churches to say, we want to partner with government to get the vaccines? You are protecting your own interest too.
Exactly.
So if your members stay alive, they worship in your church.
Exactly.
And when they worship, they pay tithe.
And the church grows.
But if the bad part of it is that when you say they shouldn't do it, you are not only destroying your interest alone, you are destroying the society. Because these members of yours who are not immune against this virus will mix with other people and spread the virus.
Remember one of the churches in Asia, you know, that I think 1 or 2 persons spread it around. You have thousands of people who now contracted the virus.
And a lot will die.
This Omicron is now in over 50 countries. What are we talking
57.
about? There are Nigerians all over the place. You go there, you pick it up, and you're saying, look, anywhere and go.
And
you
people
come
are
back
traveling
home.
all over the place.
People are going all over the place. So it's such a shame that you get to countries and they're saying, look, once you're from Nigeria, you won't even get the
because
visa.
they are hearing these things.
You won't even get the visa. So
they are hearing these things we're talking about. When somebody in
about
America is aware that some super pastors in Nigeria have told their multitude of membership not to take,
get the vaccine.
and then you want them to open their doors to you. No, nobody does that. Get your own acts in order, and then don't disturb the world.
It's quite troubling, though. It's all right. Well, we look forward to how these things will change, and governments are looking at different. In fact, the UK is coming up with a plan B on how to approach this whole issue. And all governments.
I saw a report where the Lagos State government says to attend gatherings, you have to produce your vaccine card or certificate. Yes. So I'm wondering, you're going to a party, you put it in your bag.
Just put it somewhere.
In Nigeria,
Yes.
There was that
report. It will
report.
reduce the number of people who come to eat at parties.
But that should happen in churches too.
Once they have also said you have to take it to church.
Yes, take it anywhere.
You know.
But
I think it's a good.
No, it's going to be like a driver license.
Oh,
if you're going to go anywhere,
exactly.
It's a pass to any public place.
Anywhere
but they've also said that any gathering anywhere should only have not more than 60% of the capacity of that building. You know.
Have you been to churches?
Oh my God!
No,
they are worshiping by faith. They are worshiping by faith.
And they will meet
by faith.
They will go back into the community by faith.
I shall not die, but live. You know, whatever the thing
we
is.
all need to be responsible.
No, of course we have to be responsible.
It takes more than just pronouncements. Faith does not work by pronouncement alone.
Faith without works. You know the rest. But we all have to be responsible. Yes. That's what the thing is. So apart from, all right, moving away from that, let's see the story on the Nation newspaper. The army chief, I think chief of army staff is saying that repentant Boko Haram fighters are not sincere. He certainly must have seen something, because senior army heads of the military, heads of security agencies, when they make those kinds of statements, it tells you that they're talking from knowledge, they're talking from experience, they're talking about something, privileged information they have that the rest of the people don't have. So I wonder how scary this is. Recall that when in Borno State and parts of Yobe State, and also part of Adamawa State, even in Katsina, where they talk about so many Boko Haram members returning in droves, laying down their arms, saying, okay, we are now repentant, we don't want to be involved in this again. Nigerians raised a lot of alarm regarding that. Now, Army Chief is saying, some of these people, many of them are not sincere. I'm glad,
the chicken is actually coming home to roost now. I remember, just as we're sitting here, we had that conversation right here in your studio, and we said, look, it just doesn't make sense. People commit all sorts of atrocities. They send people to their early graves. You make parents cry. People are so bereaved. Everyone is mourning and all of that. Then you wake up one morning, you drop some whatever, and you walk back and say, I've repented. I'm sorry I did this. Integrate me back into the society. The next thing you say, you want to train them, you want to get them back and put them back into the society. It just didn't make sense to some of us and a lot of other Nigerians, and we talked about it. Now, for the Army Chief to come out and say this, it simply means that the man has taken a thorough look at it. They probably have done some kind of investigations that they may not want to tell us. That's correct. It's not everything you bring to the media or bring to the public. But for this man, or this person, or this officer to have said this, I think it's something they truly need to look at. So you don't wake up one morning. I said to you, in a particular place in the north, my cousins had to run back to the south here. They didn't come back with anything because the person who was manning their gate, who had become a brother. Now, I have cousins who go by Hausa names. That's the truth. They had to come home without anything because the person they had at the gate, who was like a brother to them, had actually planned with others to come wipe them out at night. They got wind of it. I don't know how they jumped the fence or whatever, and they came back home. So this is to say that if we shut our eyes to what it is that this man is saying, we may wake up one morning and see that you're just all alone, and the people you think you have, or big relatives that you think you have, they're no longer there. When we look at what's happening right there in the north, my colleagues who work and live in the north say to me, you guys have no idea what is going on here. These things are underreported. Yes, we know why, just because of reprisal attacks here and there. But they say to me, look, when you hear the things that happen here, the way people get threatened, there are persons who work in the bank. The gentleman said, look, he had to leave his job in the bank because they walk in and they're saying to you, this is what's going to happen. And you can't talk back at them. That's how it is. So for the Army Chief to come out to say this, I think so much needs to be done. The security operatives need to wake up and understand that people just don't wake up one morning and say they've repented when you've been indoctrinated to say this is how it's going to be and this is what you've been doing over time. Then you wake up one morning and say, what if that's another tactics to actually get into the people? So
we know the Afghanistan story.
They need to take a look at it all over again.
All right, Dari, a lot of people had said that, okay, if people have said we have repented, of course, it's only logical and human to say, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But one thing there is, if the law is not going to take its course the way it's supposed to be, some people had recommended a panel they'll put a panel, a peace commission or something, a reconciliatory panel. We had it in South Africa, we had it, following the Rwandan genocide. Something like that, at least to give some kind of closure and the balance between victims and the perpetrators to come together to say, okay, I forgive you or I will not forgive you. Whatever the thing is, there would have been a commission like that.
You don't commission forgiveness. You don't commission, okay, go and forgive them. Who forgave the Boko Haram repentant fighters on behalf of the people they rendered homeless? On behalf of the widows, the fatherless, on behalf of communities raised down, who has the right to forgive them on behalf of those people? My answer is nobody. it is either these people forgive or there is no forgiveness. And these people won't forgive them until there is healing. Their victims have not healed, and you said they've been forgiven. That is on one side. On the other side is the peculiarity. People want to compare repentant Boko Haram fighters to the militants. And I say it's two different things. I lived in the north for 7 years. Katsina, Kano, Kaduna. The peculiarity of those people, we must take it into cognizance. Majority, and I say majority of these fighters don't have immediate families to return to. These are guys who grew up in the Almajiri system, roaming the street, recruited from the streets. When you commit an offense and you feel remorse, you go back home. Which home are they going back to? When you say they are accepted back into the society and you say you have reorientated them and you throw them back, you are throwing them back on the streets. Not to any particular family, not to any home. That's the difference. And when they get back out there, they are back on the streets. Jobless, penniless, worryless for a while. Then after sometimes, the idleness gets into them again. And they want some form of action. The first thing that comes to their mind is the last thing they did. So you find... Because
that was the time they were engaged.
That was the time. The only time.
The only time they were engaged.
That's why you saw repentant bandits that we celebrated, that we kitted, that we spent money.
And snap pictures with.
Snap pictures being killed by officers during another raid as a bandit. We've seen pictures of them. These are people who repented 2 years ago. Now they are killed as bandits again. Because announcing repentance at that is opportunity for quick cash. Government will give them some money. They will take they get fresh stock of arms and ammunition, and they go back to their trade. The army chief speaking now is just saying the obvious. We have said it before. There is no sincerity in the amnesty program going on in the north. He won't be the first to say it. The governor of Katsina State, former speaker, Masari, came out to say, I will never negotiate with bandits again. They are not sincere. He must have seen them back in action. The governor of Zamfara State, Governor Matawale, said the same thing.
Exactly.
After almost a year of romancing bandits and repentant Boko Harams, as they were called then.
We also at one time saw the governor of Kaduna State.
The governor of Kaduna State made it clear that these guys will never change and I will have no dealings with them. These are outbursts from experience. So the army general is also just, maybe he just came to realize that,
realization.
Let me check this dead body. Wasn't this guy one of those who repented? Then among those arrested again, he found some, maybe, I'm not saying that's what happened. And then he realized, hello, these guys aren't sincere. Let's crush them. And that's the way it should be.
Okay. Well, we only pray, as we used to, that peace and calm returns and Nigeria goes back to the glory that it has always been known for in all aspects of things. So we have to leave it here now. Dario Odufowokan, thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure being here.
Thank you. And Honorable Oyegbule, thank you very much for coming as well.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Great.